Hello, people. Okay.
Hello, people.
Hi.
Now we are going to speak in English, right?
Yeah, we're going to start speaking in English all the way.
Yeah.
If people don't understand it, just have a translator with you.
Yeah.
Go get it.
Yeah, just grab someone off the street. Excuse me, do you speak English? Yes. Come with me. I need you now.
So.
Okay, we have an a very known international guest today.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
He's one of the guys with the big bahonkadonkas. Yeah, he's really. It's a great cosplay, though.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm still shocked because I didn't know you guys had sent him an email. So I saw this story like, what?
You are the first one to say, oh, that's true. You're joking, right?
Yeah, this is a joke, right?
No, it's not.
It was great. It was great that he accepted our invitation.
Yeah.
And without more further ado, and before he starts sleeping again in his couch because it's really early where he is.
By the way, people, here it's 4 p.m. There is 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Little early back there.
Yeah. So let's go.
Let's do a little introduction of our guest. See you next. Let's do it. Okay. we are back with our guest. Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey. Hey guys, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
We're good. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I just woke up.
So a little bit sleepy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit sleepy, but I'll be okay.
Nice.
Awesome. First of all, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and to be here with us today and for your effort to wake up a little bit earlier today.
Oh, you're welcome. It's really nice to chat to people overseas. So I'm really glad to be here.
Have you ever been to Portugal?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You need to put it on your list.
I need to work on it. I need to work on it. When we're allowed to travel, I will make it.
Yeah, and guys in the chat, don't forget, start sending emails, asking questions. Hey, could you please bring WIRRU here?
Yeah, send emails to Comic-Con for PTAnime, Lisboa Games Week. Send emails asking for bring WIRRU here in Portugal.
Hey, that would be nice. I'd love to visit you guys.
Be an honor.
And we'd love to meet you in person.
Yeah.
Wow.
It would be awesome.
Cry.
Okay, WIRRU, are you ready for our questions?
Oh God. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
He's thinking about it.
So it sounds so ominous. Are you ready for our question?
That's the way we do it.
And I'm actually the first one.
Yeah, you are the first one.
Yeah. So, WIRRU.
Yep.
First question.
Oh God.
That was too serious. First question.
First question.
Like, do I get prize money for this? For $1 million.
When and why did you start doing cosplay?
Oh Jesus. Okay, back to the beginning. So my origin story, right?
Yeah.
So back when I was in high school, I was really into drawing manga. So I wanted to make my own mangas. I was drawing a lot. I was making a story as well. And there were a couple of other girls in my grade who was into the same thing, and they took me to an anime convention for the first time.
Nice.
And we went there to draw, and we didn't actually know what cosplay was. And when we went to the convention, we saw all these people dressed up as characters. We were like, oh my God, that is so crazy and weird. And then the next time that we went, we gave it a go, and I really liked it. I don't know if the other girl, I don't know if they liked it, but I really liked it, and I got hooked into it. And then I started doing more with just like things that you can put together with a wardrobe. So I didn't start off immediately making costumes. I just did some really simple like school uniform things that I can just put together with my normal clothes. And then one day I wanted to do a more weird or more crazy characters, and then that means I needed to make something. So I started making something, and then I found out that I really liked making things, and it just snowballed from there.
Oh.
That's really nice. And did you this is not the question that is here, but I'm asking for myself.
No problem.
Did you end up going to university or studying something, or did you just really throw yourself into cosplay at that point?
For costuming, no, I am completely self-taught.
Awesome, you have a lot of great cosplays. Damn.
I just I started. I think the first person to show me how to sew was Mom, because she had a old sewing machine that she actually helped me make my first costume. And then she got sick of me, so so she said, if you want to cosplay more, you got to make your own shit. So I had to make my own shit, and then And then because my mom also really likes to sew, and she was sick of me using her own her machine, I had to get my own machine. And then I started, just getting my own tools and getting my own workshop together.
Well, I can imagine how chaotic it was at one point.
Yeah,
because you got all the
I think
tools
everybody. Yeah, I think everybody has been a beginner in their lifetime. And when you're a beginner and you don't know what you're doing, it's a lot of mess. Like you just leave mess everywhere. And that, I think at the beginning, that is why Mom hated cosplay so much, because it messed up the house. But as I got better and better, I made less and less mess. And she was like, oh, you're getting really good at this. And I'm like, yeah.
How do you measure cosplay? By how much mess you make?
Yeah, it's like if you can make something and then clean it up afterwards, you've already succeeded.
Oh,
Really good.
Really good. Okay, no, do you want to make the second one?
oh, it's
Okay.
me already. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
For $5,000.
Okay.
Oh god.
This one is a really, really one. Okay. Hiro, tell me, what was your first cosplay costume?
Oh, okay. That's an easy one. Okay, so my first costume. There's two. So there's two main first costumes for me. So there's the first one that I ever cosplayed. That was the one that I put together with my wardrobe, like school uniforms and stuff. And that's Shinji from Evangelion. And yeah, when I first did that, I was an Asian kid, so I learned all the musical instruments. So I actually started learning the cello just to be Shinji. And I went on stage and played the cello for everyone as a performance.
Awesome.
And that was my first. I didn't make anything, but I took up a musical instrument for it. And then when I decided I wanted to make costumes, I actually did something from Keroro. Do you guys know Keroro? Sergeant Frog?
Not really.
So.
Sorry.
Not really. Okay, so it's pretty much like, you guys probably know me by like big titties, yeah? My first costume was also big titties. So Sergeant Frog, or Keroro Gunso, is this series about these frog aliens that have been sent to Earth to take over the world, but they're really bad at it. So they end up getting domesticated and being housewives for this family. Right? Yeah, Keroro. And then in one episode, because they're so domesticated and like they're completely like just addicted to human culture, the main character is really obsessed with Gundam models. So they go to the beach and there's a beach contest to win a special Gundam model. So the frog alien builds himself a female body with like a bikini top, and then just like goes on top. It's like this sexy anime body with a frog head. And that's my first cosplay. If you look hard enough into my old DeviantArt page, you can find it. It's dark history shit.
Yeah, we need to search.
I think I know that anime. Each frog has a different color, right?
Yes. Each frog has a different color. Yeah. The main one is green, and then there's a black one. There's a red and blue one. And a yellow one.
Yeah, I know. I know which anime it's. Oh, okay.
Good.
Now I remember.
And you talked about that we know you because of the big titties.
Yeah, like
because of
I'm so salty
Tsunade.
about that. Like just I'm like I've made so many other cool things, and then everybody's just like,
you're a very versatile cosplayer. You've done so many things. We're like, I think most of them.
No, but that's awesome because you have a lot, like you said, you have a lot of awesome cosplays. Armors, whatever it is.
But it's okay though. Like I know what the people like now. So whenever whenever I feel like I need attention, I'll just be like, titties.
So tell me, do you have a lot of do you get a lot of attention in cons because of the titties?
Oh God.
I'm just messing with you. You don't need to answer it.
I think it's about the same. I think it's about the same. It's more online where it's like everybody's like titties. But yeah, in person, like definitely like dressing up as a female character, it's like gets me it's the same amount of attention, but it's weird attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you've ever been a female, you probably know. It's like at conventions, like there's a certain type of dudes who would just come up to you and try to start a conversation, and then you're just like, no. But yeah, yeah, as weird as that is, but
you don't have fun with it. When
I
some
do have
guys
fun with it.
and you go with a deep voice, hi.
Oh, I have a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of fun with it, especially with the security guards. So sometimes the security guards would come up behind me, and like because some of the female characters they're like a little bit skimpy, right? Like you guys know Mai, everyone knows Mai. Mai is the one with the red and the it's the first freedom video, but yeah, that one seemed to pick up a lot of security guards like just from behind, because like she's got like her butt cheeks like out everywhere, right? And so all the security guards think that I'm not wearing enough, but then that's not my real butt. So like they're always like coming up behind me, tapping me on the shoulders like, hey honey, and then I would turn around and was like, honey who? That was really fun.
That sounds like a philosophy question for the security guards. Like, he's kind of showing his butt, but his butt is not his.
It's not my butt.
No.
It's not my butt.
I'm sure right now
I just saw what you got. Yeah. So this cosplay is one that catches a lot of attention with like convention staff, because obviously some of the conventions are like more strict with their family friendly dress codes and everything. And I sometimes I'm not very good at picking the correct costumes for that kind of event. That's entirely my fault. I'm not saying that, I'm not blaming anyone else. It's entirely my fault. But whenever a convention staff or like a security guard comes up and goes like, hey honey, you need to put some pants on, I was like, I have so many pairs of pants on right now.
Exactly.
I imagine their faces, it must be priceless.
It's always pretty priceless.
So awesome. Also, I found the pictures we were talking about. I sent them to Nuno.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh God. Yes.
The frog cosplay.
Have you found it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Show it.
This is awesome.
I want to see.
I'm waiting.
Okay. I'm showing you right now.
Oh my God.
It's loading because of the video.
Yeah, it's right now. Yeah.
Go. Yeah, there we go.
Oh God.
So good.
It's awesome.
It's a sexy frog.
So it's come full circle.
Oh
yeah.
God.
So awesome.
This is a really good one.
Yeah, as much as I love doing those cosplays though, like they're really hot. Like they're not in the sexy kind of ways, like they're really sweaty and hot. So like every time I do them, I'm always suffering. So it's like I have to do them sparingly.
Okay, let's do.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes.
I lost the sound. Sorry, I lost the sound over here.
Oh yeah.
So, are you a full-time cosplayer or do you have another job?
At the moment, I am full-time cosplayer. I'm very fortunate to be able to, you know, just kind of make a living with what I do at the moment. Mostly through, I make tutorials on Patreon and I make patterns for a store that people can buy. And that's pretty much it. And I stream, on Twitch. And to get like all of that together is kind of earning enough to live. It's like it's not like huge amounts of money. I don't want people to like imagine me like raking it in, but it's a humble amount that is getting me by every month, and I'm really grateful for that. Because when I moved to Canada, I actually had a cosplay related job lined up, but due to COVID, they have been losing a little bit of business, so they didn't have enough budget to bring me on board on their payroll properly. So unfortunately, I'm like still kind of on the reserves, but it's lined up, and we're in really good relations. So I'm really looking forward to having that as well. But because that job didn't end up bringing me on board immediately, I was kind of like thrown into full-time cosplay. Like I was eventually going to go full-time down the track when I was a little bit bigger and maybe the income was a bit more reliable. but because of COVID affecting the other job, then it was like, hey, it is time to make it full time. I was like, oh God. Yeah, it's working, but it's working. I'm hanging in there.
If it works, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, people on the chat, if you want to make to give us any questions, you feel free to do it.
Yes, ask me questions.
Yeah.
I have two from Instagram, the poll we did on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Let me just go get them. Okay, one of them is from Rita Tavares. She's asking, when did you start skating?
When did I start skating? Oh, actually, so I've always skated. Back when I was a kid, I was taken to the rink a lot for fun. And then in high school, I always chose skating for like the school sport. But never really actually started learning properly until last year in January.
Awesome. Okay, I have another question from Auroraneko. She's asking about your experience on WCS.
Yes. Is that the question?
Good question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was like,
Yeah. She just said.
I was waiting for the second half.
Oh no! It's just this is it.
Yeah.
She's saying yes, love him. WCS experience. Question mark.
Okay.
Only that.
Okay, I will try to summarize it because WCS is such a big experience that like there are so many things to talk about. One, it is probably the biggest and most serious competition I've ever been in. Two, it's probably the hottest I've ever been because it is in the middle of summer in Japan, in Nagoya, is probably the most I've ever sweated at an event. So yeah, it is probably the most stinky any of my costumes have ever become. Some of them I actually had to wash about 3 times to get the sweat out. It's so bad. But the event, you're probably gonna meet like lifelong friends there. It's so good. Like the sportsmanship in WCS is really great because you've got 42 countries. Well, in my year there was 42 countries. 42 countries. Every single person that is there is the chosen champion from their country. So they have been through the exact same tough selections that you have been through. So the camaraderie is really great because everybody knows how hard it is to be there. So everybody is kind of there to have a good time. Because kind of the suffering is already over, but then when you get there, the Japanese event will just like keep making you suffer more because it's so hot and so busily scheduled. So everybody's just like suffering together, and then it just becomes this whole massive suffering.
Oh dear, that sounds horrible.
That's all.
I say suffering in like the most loving way possible, but it was very painful. But the competition itself is really intense. For anybody who hasn't done a big competition before, let me do like a big run through of the process. So each country holds their pre-selections, right? Australia used to do 2 rounds of selections, 1 in each state, and then each state representative has to do another round to go to Japan. I think
you're freezing. If you can hear us.
Same, and Brazil and some of the bigger countries still have to do multiple stages of selections because they have so many regions in their country and so many teams in each region, so that they have to do it like a literal anime tournament arc where they have to go semi-finals, finals, selection, blah, that kind of thing, right? It's really hype, kind of like watching a sports tournament, but at the same time, it makes it really stressful for everybody that is participating. Okay, so once you've made it through all of that to get selected as the team, you have to make, well, you can choose to make a different costume and make a new performance for Japan, or you could upgrade your own. Kay and I decided to take our Monster Hunter skit and upgrade it for the World Championship. So we made it bigger and we made it more explosive. We added flips into it. But we kept the same performance, but made different, like new costumes, because Monster Hunter is really flexible because you can create your own character and make any armor, right? So we kind of just took advantage of that because we knew we had a good performance that really suited our strengths, because Kay is really athletic and I'm really athletic, and then we wanted to just make some crazy armor that nobody thought we could move in, and then we suddenly just flip, and I was like, yeah, of course you can move in armor, you just got to make it well, that kind of thing. We just wanted to like show people that you can make crazy armor and still move in it. But so I got off track. But so once you make it there, the Japanese organization is a little bit weird because every year they try to make the event a little bit better, and they have the best, like bless their souls, they try to make the event the best they can every year, but somehow they make it more stressful for us. So in our year, they try to hype it up by adding an extra round in Japan. So usually when you make it to Japan, that's it, right? That's it. Everybody performs, and then you get a winner at the end. But when we made it to Japan this year, they decided to add an extra round in Tokyo instead of Nagara. So we got flown to Tokyo. We had to do a catwalk in our championship costumes, and then we got ranked for that catwalk. And then with that ranking, you get points, and it's like the top 2 teams go straight to the finals, and then the teams that didn't get onto the top 2 ranking have to do the first day of performance. So everybody who didn't make it into the top 2 in their groups in the catwalk had to perform on Saturday, and then that Saturday is the semifinals, and then in the semifinals they cut the teams in half. So if you're not in the top half, you don't perform again.
Oh.
And then if you're in the top half, you have to perform twice. So there is no, there's everything about it is stressful, right? I can see Iris just stressing out.
Yeah, too.
So pretty much they have made an extra tournament arc in Japan, which is I feel like for the audience it would have been amazing, but for us we were like, oh my God, we have to wear our costumes how many times? I was really lucky that Kay and I made it really customizable. We made our costumes customized to the Tokyo catwalk first, and then we changed it a little bit for the performance so that we can wear it as many times as possible. But yeah, that's kind of the experience with WCS. It's really intense, but like thinking back, it was really exciting as well. Like I would probably do it again because I like suffering so much. But, yeah, when I was experiencing it, I was super stressed out. But thinking back, it was just such an exciting format for everyone to watch. Yeah.
Okay, I have let me see. Okay, let's see if you can see. I have the video for your performance in WC.
Oh God, yay! I'm so proud of this thing.
Yeah,
does it have a copyright?
You guys enjoy it.
I'll remove the sound.
The sound.
So
okay, great.
Did you want commentary on this?
Yeah. Because I cannot put the sound because the sound rights and everything. So
that's okay. So a fun little fact is that our costumes light up, right? So and Kay and I start on different sides of the stage before the performance. And right before I was supposed to run on, the lights on my knee stopped working. And I was like, oh no, I want to reconnect them. It's like they didn't break or anything. It was just one of the connectors came loose. And I was just like trying to connect them with seconds to go. So like you can see the introduction video playing right now. That is our standby cue. And I was just there fiddling with my light. So our organizer was just like, fucking forget it. Forget the knee light. No one's going to notice the knee light. And if you watch the video from here, you will see that I'm almost late coming out.
Almost.
Let's start.
I think there will be a little bit of a lag with my comment because
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it should be okay. Yeah, so there's an explosion and I'm supposed to come out. I was nearly late coming out. But everything else from here was pretty perfect. Like this was exactly how we practiced it because we practiced a lot. It was really hard to practice together as well because we lived in different cities in Australia. I was in Sydney and Kay was in Melbourne. So how we coordinated this was I choreographed the movements because I was the martial artist of the group, and I would film myself doing my parts, and then I would film myself doing her parts, and then she would practice her parts using my videos. And then when we visited each other, we were very lucky that one of our friends got married during this time, that she had to come to Sydney to visit me. And then we used that as our practice time. So during that time, we put those two parts together, so coordinated it. And we just like tweaked bits of it. So all of this choreography was actually just learned separately and then put together right at the last minute. But yeah, there's not much you can do when you live in different cities. This big flip thing we were so proud of this because we wanted to do something that was unexpected in our armors. It was like there was so much spikes and stuff. we originally had a much bigger, like a Black Widow kind of like leg helicopter thing planned, but the spikes got in the way, so we had to change the trick a little bit. And
Fantastic.
at the last little bit, I was actually getting really tired because I was supposed to be running around the stage and I just ended up walking. I got so tired. I didn't know why I was so tired. It was only 2 minutes. But oh, fun thing about the bow thing with Kay, how she finishes the monster with the bow, that has kind of become a running signature trick for Kay because she does Kudo archery. And the last time that she represented Australia in WCS, she also did the exact same finish with the archery to finish off the whatever monster was on the stage. So pretty much shooting something with an arrow has just become Kay's signature WCS move.
Yeah, she's OP basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so our time is running out. We're going to do a little break and we'll be right back. Okay.
So
Okay.
let's wait. Where is
See you
the
soon, guys.
okay.
And people, you can still give us the questions if you want.
Yes.
Hello, we are back again.
Back
Hey
again.
guys.
Hiro didn't run away, so
We're still here.
I'm still here.
So
Are you still sleepy? Or not really?
I'm always sleepy.
oh,
You have a nice
Okay.
pillow on your lap, so
so
I still have. Yeah, I'm in a pillow fort right now.
nice.
that's good.
So okay,
Okay, Iris, you want to do the fourth question?
Yes.
do it.
So, Wiru, what is your favorite costume and photo shoot? And I mean, you have so many.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah,
oh
pick
God.
one or two.
pick
For
one or two.
$10,000.
Well, I think my favorite costume and photo shoot would be the one I did with Kay after WCS with our championship costumes. So that's the Azori Star-Lord. Actually, both of them. After we had a habit of going to a photo shoot with our championship costumes like right after the competition. So we did it for our Monster Hunter World costumes with the preliminary costumes where I was the field team leader and she was the Kulu Huntress. We actually went to a cliff in Australia, like overlooking the ocean. It was really nice because there was nothing in the horizon. It was just a whole 360 of just horizon.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was just this cliff. And you could just like look down it and it's just crashing waves underneath. So we just had to be really careful not to, slip and die. But that was a really fun photo shoot with really with what we knew was really good costumes as well. It was one of those locations that you felt like you were the characters in the video game, and I was just so in the mood. It was just everything was great. We arrived there in the morning, and we actually shot all the way up until sunset. It was great, and we got a lot of like different times of the day at that location. With there's like big sunlight, and then we had a sunset kind of shoot, and then when it got dark, we had some camping light shoots. So it was really, really atmospheric. And then we did the same after we won WCS. We came back and we had a convention in Melbourne, and we got a photographer to Create Photography that was the photographer. He took us to this really lovely waterfall location for our dragon shoot. We actually had to take the full costume. We put on as much as we could, and then with our giant weapons, we had to hike halfway down a mountain to get to this location where it was a waterfall with some stones, and then because it was like so wet, there was a lot of moss around. So literally, again, we had to be really careful not to slip and die. And it was, again, it was just one of those locations where it suited our story a lot, especially with the waterfall in the background. And our performance was all about training ourselves to be stronger, to defeat the monster and everything. We actually really got into the mood of we are training under a waterfall. It was so cool. I'm thinking back at it now, I was just like, oh my god, that was the day. Yeah, you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see the photos now. Funnily enough, right after that photo got taken, the one that is on the screen now, right after that one got taken, I slipped on moss and nearly died. Because that piece of wood that I was standing on had so much moss on it. It was like almost green, but then it was like the perfect angle to get the waterfall. So I was like, I'll stand on it for as long as I can, take the picture, and then I will slip and break my back.
Exactly. Everything for cosplay.
Yeah, everything.
And on that day, everybody slipped. Kay slipped over Kay slipped over and stepped into mud or something. So she got it okay. I slipped on that log and hit my ass. And our photographer, our trooper of a photographer, when we were packing up, he slipped and fell on his equipment.
Damn.
But yeah, we were like, oh my God, it's over. Like everything is over. Like he just literally slipped on a wet stone, right? And landed on his back with all of his equipment on his back. And we were like, fuck.
Yes,
Because
it's
like out of all of our things, like our costumes costed a lot to make, but it was not as much as photography equipment. But luckily the tools that he landed on was like the stands and stuff. So the cheapest stuff. It's like, it's like not the lens or anything. It's like somebody else had the lens bag and the camera bag. He landed on the poles and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And nothing was damaged. He probably got a couple of bruises, but we were all okay. Like we all got a few bruises that day.
And yet it was worth it.
We all slipped and died that day. But that was definitely my favorite shoot. But then a very close second would be my recent ice rink shoot with Victor, because it was my first costume that was completed in Canada, in my new home. Yeah, it was the first costume that I completely made in Canada, and then it was the first shoot that I had in Canada as well, and it was on private ice. We actually hired out the ice rink for ourselves for an hour. It was pretty expensive, but it was much cheaper in Canada because ice is much cheaper in Canada, thankfully. It was just so atmospheric because the training rink that I'm at is like literally a stadium, right? You got the scoreboard up the top, and it's got like the stadium lights, and the ice is really white, and everything just felt like Yuri on Ice. I was like, yes. So I got really into the mood. So I ended up giving you three favorites, but I can't choose between those three.
It's okay.
Yeah, you guys can see it now.
Yeah, I have a question here on the live chat. Alice Manso is asking.
Hi.
You said now that you learned the cello because of Shinji, and you also figured skating like Victor. Do you like to learn things the character you cosplay do?
Sometimes I try to, like with Victor, it was very convenient because I was already very interested in skating, and I was already learning anyway. I did two versions of Victor actually. Back when I did the first version of Victor, I was still just like playing around with skating, and that was because I had always skated in my life. But then after a while, I realized that I really did like skating. So I decided to get a coach and learn properly. And then the new trailer came out, and I was like, oh my God, that is very convenient.
The universe has aligned. It's a sign.
It was such a fun fact as well, because that trailer for the new Victor dropped on my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. So everybody was tagging me in it, and I was like, oh yeah, if that is not a Yuri on Ice telling me to cosplay it again, I don't know what is. So I did it immediately. You know how I was talking about, like, I live right next to my fabric store, and when I went to my fabric store just like for fun the other day, after seeing the trailer, I found the perfect, like, the embroidered the brocade fabric. That's exactly the pattern as his fabric in the trailer, and I was like, yeah, the universe is telling me to do it. I should just buy the fabric and do it. And yeah, so that's how that happened. It's usually when I end up acquiring a skill that a character does, it's like, I hate to say it, but it's always coincidence. I don't think it's ever been intentional. like skating was a coincidence, and most of the martial arts stuff was well, I've done martial arts most of my life, so that's always been a coincidence. So I think like long story short, I think like the cause and effect is backwards. So probably not, because I've cosplayed some basketball characters, and I've cosplayed some Prince of, I didn't do, I did some Prince of Tennis characters. I never learned those sports, but when I did Haikyuu, like it was another coincidence, because when I did Haikyuu, I had already played volleyball for my school team, and we went all the way to nationals, so I was pretty good at it. And I was like, okay, this is another coincidence. Like, so yeah, it's all a coincidence. I don't claim any credit for it.
Great. It's the universe telling you that you should cosplay those characters.
It's always the universe telling me to do something. Every time I acquire a skill, an anime would come out with a character with that skill, and I'm like, oh.
Well, I guess it said that add to cosplay plans.
Yeah, pretty much.
I really like this video you skating and the character. It's
I do try to do some research though. Like it's as much as like I don't try to, play every sport of the character that I cosplay, or I don't take up every style of fighting that every character that I cosplay. I do just try to look at lots of footage and look at videos and reference pictures and things, just to research what body language they have and what kind of posture that they have, because like my background is in karate, but sometimes the characters that I cosplay, they have a martial arts style that is more towards the older Chinese styles, or sometimes they have a more Western kind of stance. And if I do that with a karate stance, it doesn't look right or feel right for that character. But yeah, the basis is there. But it's always just, I think every cosplayer out there does this already anyway. It's just like look at lots of pictures and just research the poses.
I would say yes, but then
it's a lot of fun as well though. It's a lot of fun just to copy and pretend, and then during that process of copying, it becomes your own. And it's like that, it's that change from copying to making it your own that is really exciting for me.
So Iris, I saw your face. You do not research your characters, right?
Well, I was just like dead, like memories of the stress. Like, do I even have time to look at the poses? Like, the convention is tomorrow. I'm still finishing this up. I'm not gonna sleep. Or the competition is tomorrow. I didn't even have time to train my skin.
You should do that fast.
Right, yes. We all check our poses.
For this kind of thing though, if you want to try it next time, try to start with your skit and your poses first, and then have your costume, because the skits and the poses you can't rush. Like you can't practice skit, or like you can't make a skit, or you can't make the poses and remember all of the character the night before, but you can rush a costume to finish the night before. Like there's two different, So maybe it will help, maybe not, but I think the more successful times that Kay and I have done things together for competition, it's always been we figure out what performance we want to give, and then we make the costume to fit it. Yeah, because you can always alter your costume to fit a performance, but you can't always alter a performance to fit your costume.
True.
because it's harder that way.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So hello, Aurora. You came a little bit later. We already did your question to WIRRU, so
Aurora
if
is
you want
here.
to see it, you have to.
I can answer it again. Which one was it?
It was about WS.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that was really long.
Not again.
Okay, that's really long, so you have to just rewatch it.
Yeah, sorry.
Just rewatch it, okay,
I'm
Aurora?
so sorry.
No, but Aurora, if you have another question, just do it, okay?
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we know that you already went to a lot of conventions. What countries did you visit?
Oh my God, there is a lot. So let's start with Australia. I've been to every single convention in Australia. There is not much, but but we've been to all of them. They're always very nice. But like convention is in Australia, because our community is so tight knit. It's kind of like the same convention everywhere. You see the same people. It's quite nice. I say that in the most adoring way because in Australia, there's not many conventions. So everybody travels to all of the conventions. So it's the same crowd that migrates through the country throughout the year. And it's really cute. So we've been to all of the Australian ones. I've been to one in Manila, Philippines. I think that was called Cosmania. And then there was AMG in Malaysia. There was Asian Comic Con in Malaysia. Southeast Asia is one of my favorite communities to go visit because they're always really enthusiastic. Europe. Okay, I've been to Europe a lot during the mid 2010s. So we did Dokomi. We did something in Switzerland at Japan Manga Night. That was and we did Japan Expo, France, and Bulgaria one time, Chile one time, Spain. I'm forgetting something. Oh, the USA. The biggest one. USA, I think one time, two times. Two times, yeah. So I've been a little bit all over. I'm completely forgetting something. Oh, Netherlands. Netherlands and Denmark. So they were my first two international invitations. So I should not forget them. So I've been all over the place. I think my favorite is Southeast Asia, like just the community, but the most impressive is always the European conventions because the community there is super crafty. And every time I go and witness the costumes that is at European conventions, I come back with a new motivation to do better.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, because everybody's so creative there, and like they remind me of how Australia. Oh, they remind me of how Australians craft as well, because like we like to do everything, and we like to put a lot of extra effort to places that nobody can see. And Europeans kind of like just embody that. I think like they're every time I go in to look at a costume at a European competition or something, a contestant would flip over some part of the costume that I wouldn't even look to flip over and show me this amazing thing that if they didn't flip it over, nobody would even know that existed. And I would be like, why did you spend all that time there? That's amazing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I guess people just really like making things, and even if other people don't see, we still know that we put that kind of work into it.
Yeah.
And
it's
it's
like other
perfect.
people. Yeah, it's like other people don't know what's there, but I know what's inside.
That's enough for us.
That's it.
That's the bigger difference between the countries that you saw in conventions, or you have a lot of another points to add? In difference of other conventions you went?
That's hard because every country has their different styles of conventions as well. I think probably our conventions is in Australia is the most similar to the European ones.
Oh, okay.
The atmosphere is about the same. Southeast Asia has their own kind of flavor, where it's I think it's much more people driven, in the sense that the crowd kind of drives the day, whereas I think in Europe and Australia and maybe the US, the events drive the crowd, like it's the other way around. I don't know, that's what I've heard, and that's what I've experienced anyway. But the reassuring thing though is that no matter which country you go, you do see the same types of people and the same types of cosplayers, and like you could kind of rest assured that there will be a community there that you can fit into, and I think that's like really nice, and like something that's really nice and warm and reliable about the cosplay community is like no matter where in the world you go, there is a community there, and the community isn't exactly that different.
It's cool.
So in the end, you've been to Bulgaria and Spain, but not Portugal.
I know. I know. Hopefully soon.
I hope so.
Yeah. Again, people start sending emails to Comic-Con, to Lisboa Games Week, PTAnime. Just do it.
Yeah, I'll get there as well.
Yeah.
If you guys manage.
Okay.
So,
Let's see.
are there any more questions in the chat?
Not really.
Okay.
Have a lot of comments, but not
Yeah.
questions per se. Okay, we're going to jump a lot of questions because they
Yeah,
already
talked so-
answered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
it's cool though.
Yeah.
So Nuno, do you want to make the 8th one?
It's one.
Yeah. We already talked a little bit about WCS, but
Well,
there
I
are
mean,
more
Okay.
conventions.
No. Wait. But I
Yes,
just-
it is. So,
Yeah.
say.
Just do it, you. Okay.
I do
the
it.
que- Yeah, I'm here doing something. I cannot wait.
Okay, so
Oh shit.
we already talked about WCS.
Yeah.
What other cosplay contests did you participate and win?
So I did. Oh, okay. So in Australia, there used to be a national competition called Madman National Cosplay Championships, MNCC. They were run by the main distributors of anime down under, and that was one of those competitions that was really new at the time, because WCS is obviously done with a team of 2 people, and the MNCC was the first major competition, like the major national title that you can compete on your own. And I was really gravitating towards that because at the time I was really sick of working with other people. I wanted to work alone. And it came at a really good time. And I won that one twice. Once in 2010 and once in 2014. And then and the cool thing about that one is that if you win a trip to Japan, but as a holiday. You know how you win WCS and you go to Japan and it's suffering?
Yeah.
The MNCC, you go to Japan and it's a holiday. It's a paid holiday for 7 days. So it was really nice. It was just a holiday, no competition attached, no anything. So it was really appealing at the time. So I won that twice. The first time I took a friend who, I took my eventual like WCS partner. So it was Tsubaki at the time. We went to Japan and had a really great time, saw WCS, and then decided to enter together the next year. So that was really great. And then the second time, well, it was in 2014. But by that time, I had been to like Japan every year to translate for WCS. Also, I was really sick of Japan at that time. So I was like, I don't want a trip to Japan. So I gave it to my parents and they went in my place.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really nice.
Yeah, they had a good time. They enjoyed it far more than I did at that time of their lives. And there was one more that I won, which was the Crown Cosplay Championship in Oz Comic Con. So that one was the one that I made Bahamut for. Yeah, that was another one of those major competitions that you could participate on your own, and I really gravitated towards that because once again, at that time in my life, I didn't want to work with anybody else because I was just like, I can barely deal with my own bullshit. So like, I can't deal with any other people's bullshit. And I don't want other people to deal with my stress either. So I was like, you know what, I want to do this. And the main appeal for that competition was it was 100% craftsmanship based. There was no performance involved. And at that point in my life, I was just like really over performing as well. I just wanted to make a costume, wear it, walk on, walk off, go home. So I thought, hey, 3-meter tall dragon with giant wings would be perfect for this. And it turned out it was. I won the Australian selection. I got sent to Chicago in the USA to represent Australia for that, and I came second on the world stage for that one.
That was so cool.
I think that's everything. I've done a lot of competitions, but those are the big ones.
I have a question here on the live chat from Gazaki Cosplay. What do you like the most and the least about the cosplay community?
Oh geez, okay, hard question.
That's a tough one.
Let's start with what I like the most about the cosplay community is that, well, they're always really welcoming. They're always resourceful. Like if you hang around the right people, you make lifelong friends. And it's especially like an easy community to kind of make lifelong friends with, especially if you're kind of awkward in real life. Like I'm really awkward in real life and I struggle to say hi to people. And I struggle to express interest to make friends in real life. And for someone like me having, you know, a common interest, like cosplay, like making things, like dressing up weird and looking weird in public, and that is such like that's a really easy icebreaker for people to bond over. And I think, you know, just having that common interest in something creative and being able to connect with other people over that is really beautiful and really heartwarming and really just kind of just like reassuring that, you know, even a potato like myself can make friends, you know. That's always like that always makes me feel good. So that's my favorite thing about the cosplay community. My least favorite, I don't know. My least favorite thing, I haven't been involved in any like negativity in a while because I'm getting too old and tired of cosplay. But I would just say like sometimes there are cosplayers out there who kind of just take ownership for things that they don't own, like for example a character, or sometimes even a technique of making something which, you know, you don't own. So I feel like sometimes the ownership of things is a little bit petty, and I think if somebody was to make something exactly the same way that I made something, I would actually take it as, you know, somebody who is coming up, don't know how to make something any other way. And I have been a guide for them. And I think I would be actually genuinely happy that somebody has actually gone and copied my technique. And then I would hope that they would eventually make it their own. So I think if you think about it, learning is always step one, copy something else, and then step two, getting good at that, and then step three, making that technique your own by putting your own style into it. That's the process of learning art. And I think some parts of the community that, I'm talking about my experiences from like decades ago. I haven't experienced this in a while, but like some parts of the community, they do like to take ownership of their techniques and like just try to, I think like the over competitiveness comes into play, where they think if somebody found out how they made something, they can make it better. And I think, that while that is true, that is also, a part of learning. Like people will surpass you sometime. And I think that's a beautiful thing, like that, because if people don't surpass others, then the art itself isn't going to grow. Yeah, so I think that's like my least favorite thing about, but I haven't even experienced that ever since 2009. I'm too old and too tired to deal with this bullshit. I'm just like, here are my characters, here are my patterns, here are my techniques, use them.
Yeah, but to be honest, for example, I started following you because you make tutorials and you've been putting out tutorials for such a long time. So like you're saying that, I'm like, but you really share your techniques, you know? So
yeah,
it's like,
I mean,
they're there.
Yeah, I mean, that also brings it back to, my favorite thing about the community is like the sharing, the connecting and everything. It's like, for me, sharing tutorials is also my way of connecting with people as well. It's like for people to learn with me and craft with me my way, and like the way that I've discovered, like, because cosplay is a lot of trial and error, right? Like that we are a bunch of amateurs trying to be professional. And in that sense, I am doing lots of trial and error so that other people don't have to. Like, here is the results of my experiments. This thing worked, this thing didn't. You're welcome to try this other thing that didn't, but here is an option that works if you don't want to try anything else. But I think, my putting my content out there is just a way for me to, connect with, other people who are on the same journey as me. I was like, hey, you're struggling with this character, you're struggling with gloves. And it's like, here's a thing that I have discovered works. Come to me, come talk to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So our time is running out again. We're going to do a little break again, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you.
See you soon.
Back again, people. We are back.
You have sound?
Hi.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
great.
think so.
So I have some more questions here on live chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is
Nice.
from Seth Rodriguez. He's asking. First, he's saying, "I did martial arts too. I'm third Q of Shotokan Karate.
Nice.
Ever considered applying kata to one of your cosplay skits?"
I did. Both of our Monster Hunter skits did a Shotokan kata called Kankusho.
Nice, awesome.
There you go.
Nice.
Like everyone who doesn't know what you're talking about, like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go
It's
search
the,
it on Google.
You know how we watched the WCS video earlier? It's the movement that when we stood here and we started going this way, this way, this way, this way, and
where
then
is
into the jump.
Oh.
Yeah.
The
So that is
silhouettes
the
behind you in
yeah.
blue,
So
right?
that's the kata that we used. I did Goju-ryu and Shotokan-ryu. So there are two styles of karate. There's like 4 big styles of karate, but I did 2 of them. And Shotokan had like the more dynamic katas, and Kay and I thought Kankusho, the one that we did for WCS, would be like a really visually dynamic way of showing, Monster Hunter training. And so we did it.
So cool.
I had no idea.
The skills.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
The
all this
skills
world
for
that
the
we don't know
cosplay.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying, "Oh my god, that's so amazing! Gotta look it up."
Yeah.
Yes, please look it up. It's we're really proud of that one. I think there's a making video of it on my Facebook somewhere, but it's fairly old, so you'll have to dig for a while. Sorry.
I have another one here from Vegeta Depp. She's asking, yeah, she's asking, do you always use your female silicone chest as a purse? Really?
Sorry,
Really?
what?
Right. Do it again, okay.
Do you always use your female silicone chests as a purse?
Yeah.
Or has a purse? Does it has a purse?
Yeah.
Has
It
a
always
purse.
has. Yeah. It always has a pocket. I would show you if I wasn't already all packed to move.
That's it.
No
But
problem.
yeah. So like, I have a tutorial on it on my store, but I'm pretty much like I made the silicone thing and it's empty inside, right? So if I have nothing inside, like the boobs are gonna be like saggy. So like I put some cushions in there, and then in the cushions there's like pockets, so I can put things in there as like snacks and makeup brushes and everything that I need during the day would be in my boobies.
I'm so jealous right now.
It's a booby purse. So
It's a booby purse.
okay, I don't know.
Okay, I have another one here
Okay.
from Alice Manso. I'm going to try to understand this one. You do a lot of repeat still cry. Is that actually a relaxing experience or just tiring?
It depends on what I'm doing. A lot of repeat till cry that I do is pretty relaxing, especially if I'm doing leather work and it's just like hammer. That's usually the most repetitive thing that I do is hammering leather, but it is one of the most soothing things that I do for cosplay. I usually just put a movie on or put some music on, or sometimes I just do it in complete silence. I just hammer throughout the day. And then before I know it, it's like 3 a.m. I was like, oh shit, I've just hammered leather for an entire day without talking to anybody. But yeah, I think every cosplayer has their favorite type of repeat till cry process. Like some people love embroidery. I can't stand embroidery. Some people love beading. For me, it's leatherwork. I think the only times where I say repeat till cry and it's actually suffering is when I'm cutting fabric. I hate cutting fabric so much. And it's always the start of a project. So I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
But then you see the end result and it's awesome.
Oh, I hope so. It's like, I cut so much fabric for this. Like when I was making Victor, there is an entire episode of me just complaining about cutting fabric. It's on YouTube. It's just an entire episode of cutting fabric, and I'm just like,
That actually brings me to Gaea's question. What's a skill cosplay related or not that you'd like to learn or improve?
oh,
That's a nice question.
Really nice
I
question.
would like to be better at video editing because
Nice.
it takes me so much time at the moment. It's like a 3-minute video would take me literally an entire day. And I'm like, how do people do this?
I understand.
It's not because it's a lot of work, it's because I'm really bad at it.
Oh.
I don't think
Yeah, so definitely I would like to be better at video editing. And I would also like to improve on my draping skills. So for more flowy fabric costumes, or it's like fabric manipulation in general is something that I'm really interested in. Because I'm really bad at sewing. I'm just like, I just want to get better at it.
You have to ask your mother again.
Yeah. My mom is actually my mom actually does some things in sewing where I just like raise a single eyebrow at her. But no, she's great. She alters a lot of clothes.
Nice. Do you want to do the next one again from Gaea Iris?
Yes, she's also asking, what is your favorite part of costume making?
Finishing.
Nice also.
Probably the best.
Of course. Definitely not sewing.
No, my favorite part of costume making is actually the problem solving part. Right at the beginning where you figure out how you're going to make everything. That's the part that makes me most excited. Because like when you're looking at the reference picture and you're trying to like just decipher it like it's a puzzle, and I love patterning armor. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but like for the last 2 weeks, I've been patterning a new armor, and it's just like paper shapes everywhere, and it's so much fun because it's exactly the same thing you do in kindergarten, where you're cutting shapes out of paper and then putting it on your body, and it's so much fun. It's just that puzzle solving part of cosplay that I really like the most, and then obviously I love making the costume itself, but it's that first part of brainstorming how to transform a picture to reality. That transition, that kind of problem solving stage is what really gets me excited every single project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you froze a little bit. Can you hear us?
Hiro.
Hiro.
Oh no.
Oh,
He went away. They cut the internet.
Everyone cut out.
Oh.
Okay, you're back.
That was a belief. Okay, you are alive. Okay. I don't know if we can. Any questions on the chat?
Yeah, we have another question here.
Okay.
2 questions actually from Gaea again.
Hi.
She's asking, when do you cosplay at a con? What percentage of the time are you totally in character?
Oh wow, it depends on what character I'm cosplaying. If it's like one of those really over the top characters where it's like where they're in everybody's faces, I would not be in character very often because I don't want to annoy other people. But if it's like if it's like a hunter or something, like if it's like a monster hunter, that's easy because you can just do those in-game motions. You could do the in-game dances. You could, you know, you could just stand around with the stance, like their idle stance. Like those are more easy to do without being a nuisance to other people. But if it's those characters that are really loud and obnoxious, then I would not be in character very often. Probably maybe just for a photo or a video or anything like that. But then other than that, I wouldn't be that kind of cosplayer to be my loud and obnoxious character to greet somebody. I was like, I don't like to be greeted like that, so I don't greet other people like that. So
Yeah.
that's a personal thing. That's a personal. I'm not saying that should be the way, but that's my personal percentage. Maybe if it's like a video game character that has like idle poses that I can do throughout the day, then probably like 90 to 100% I could be in character throughout the day. But if it's like a loud and obnoxious character, it's like 1% during the day.
That's very considerate.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're a more introverted person.
I am. I don't like to talk to people unless spoken to.
So this live here today, it's hard for you?
No, this is great because there's questions and I can just answer them and I don't have to speak if I don't have to.
Awesome. Okay. I have more questions here from Gazaki.
Oh, see, more questions.
Yeah,
she's loving your answers. That's why she keeps coming up with all these questions.
Yes.
So, do you want to do it, Iris?
Sure.
Oh.
Wait, but which one?
Yeah, you are.
Do you ever feel discouraged mid-project? If so, what helps you get excited again?
Always. I mean, sometimes I just completely lose interest in a project, and if I do lose interest in a project, I just give it up.
You start a new one.
Exactly. If it's not fun, then you shouldn't force yourself to do it. Unless it's in the middle of a competition piece and you have to finish it. And in that case, I mean, I have gotten discouraged in the middle of a competition project before. And usually I just get over that by, just looking through what I've done so far and, just appreciating how much that I have done and, just trying to do a little bit every day. It's like losing motivation is like, it's common for everybody. It's like everybody loses motivation. Everybody, has bad days. But I like to keep my projects on a constant motion, so I don't take a single day off. So how I do that though is like I'm not encouraging forcing yourself to do like hours and hours of crafting every day, even if you don't want to. What I'm encouraging is that if you are feeling like your motivation for a project is slowing down, slow down and take it easy, but don't come to a complete stop. Maybe, today you don't feel like doing an entire sleeve. Maybe you can just sew a single button or something like that. During my WCS project, I got super stressed and there were times where I didn't feel like doing anything. I still really wanted to do the project because I really loved that costume and we were doing really great, but I was just so burnt out. I just had no energy physically or mentally. I just needed a rest day. But my rest day would be maybe I would go and pattern out one piece and then call it a day. Whereas usually on my good days, I would pattern out a whole heap of pieces and make them as well. But today I'm feeling off. So I'm going to do maybe 10 minutes of crafting and then go do something else. And so it's like, as long as you're getting into that habit of doing something every day, then that motivation will come back. Like it's kind of like a natural flow of energy. Like everybody has their ups and downs, but as long as you don't come to a complete, if you don't come to a complete stop, it will pick back up. Because if you come to a complete stop, then it's very easy to come to a complete stop for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and then suddenly you have stopped cosplaying altogether. And it's it's really easy to just accidentally quit. So yeah.
I never thought of it that way. So
yeah.
I'm like, well,
so if you
maybe.
yeah, so we have the same kind of saying when we used to teach students in karate and fitness as well, is that if you have an off day, don't or if you have an off day you don't feel like training, if you don't have an off day you don't feel like practicing, don't take the entire day off. Do it at maybe 50%, maybe do it at 20% of your effort, and then put something in and just like maintain the habit, because the habit is stronger than motivation. Because habit is stronger than motivation. It's like going for a run every morning. As long as you, maybe today you don't feel like a run, maybe you can go for a walk instead.
Yeah.
As long as you are going outside and doing that routine, then that routine will continue. But if you take it off for one day, it's easy to say, oh, I didn't go out for a run yesterday. I don't have to do it today, and I don't have to do it tomorrow. And then suddenly you haven't ran for 5 years and you're suddenly thinking, oh, I'm very inactive now. And that goes the same for cosplay.
Yeah.
It goes the same for anything you want to keep doing for a long time.
Yeah, she's saying that actually great advice, and she's thanking you.
Yeah, do something every day. Doesn't matter how small. A little bit is progress.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question here from her. What it's like to be a guest on a con?
Oh,
It's special because you're still a cosplayer, but it's a weird kind of feeling, because you're still a cosplayer, you're still a member of the community, but you're kind of put on a status somehow. But then I don't know how to describe it. It's like being a featured artist. It's like being a featured member of your community. I think it comes with its benefits, and it comes with its responsibilities as well, because because cosplay is like this really weird kind of community where the guests are a part of the community. It's not like when you have a famous actor as a guest, where they come and they are they're kind of an alien existence to us, because we are the fans and they are the celebrities. Whereas if you're a cosplay guest, the community might be your fans. They might be your fans, but you are also a part of the community, as you're still in the circle. So I think there's like a different dynamic there, as opposed to the normal guests that are at a convention. I think it's just like it's a special feeling. I don't know how to describe how it's so special. It's just special. It's really unlike any other experience.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, we don't have any more questions here on the chat, and Nuno has something to talk about.
Oh, Nuno has something for me now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to you. My English is terrible right now. I want you to tell me your experience to do your amazing cosplay that is Bahamut.
Bahamut. Okay. I'll tell you. I'll tell you about Bahamut. So, Bahamut was a thing that I made for a competition here called the Crown Championship of Cosplay. Right. He was like my third attempt at winning this national cosplay competition in Australia that I had been not able to win for a couple of years. Like I keep trying and like it wasn't, I just wasn't good enough for that competition for some reason. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make something that is bigger than my house. That'll show them. And then I was just like, I'm not saying like bigger is better, but like at at that time, I was like, what would be really impressive? I was like, let's make something that is really intricate and really big at the same time. So there is 4 times the work. And then it was just like, I've always been a really big fan of Final Fantasy X, because it was one of those first video games that I followed the story from the beginning to end, and the ending is just like feels trip. And my housemate wanted to do Yuna with me, so I was like, okay, let's do it. And my housemate was giant. She was so tall. She's taller than me, so I was like, fuck, if I have to be Bahamut for her Yuna, I have to be freaking huge. So one of the reasons why my Bahamut became so big was because my Yuna was really big. And yeah, so and to make it worse, she got these giant platform shoes for her Yuna, so she was even bigger. And so I had to go even bigger. So it just grew and grew and grew, and eventually this Bahamut build was just like so much leather and so much tooling, so much work and everything, that it was bigger than our living room, and it was bigger than our backyard. So whenever I had to, well, I made it all in separate parts. So I made the body, and then I made the legs, I made the head, and I made the wings, and I made the arms all separately, but with just like a chart with maths, just calculating what size every part has to be in order for it to look proportional. And then when I would make all those parts separately, and then I have to put it together in the park down the street because there's no space in our house for it, just to test if everything was proportional, like the legs aren't too big, or like the wings aren't too big, or like the head wasn't too big for the body or anything like that. And by the end of it, it was actually put together at the convention. We were like at the morning of the convention, right outside the prejudging space. Like there was no room. We couldn't fit in any room. We were 3 meters tall. So we got a space. We put it together for the first time on the convention floor. And the cool thing about this costume, though, not everybody knows, is that it breathes gas and it plays music. So it plays the summoning music. When I'm wearing it, it plays the Final Fantasy soundtrack. So when that happened, I was actually like just silently sobbing inside the costume because everything has worked, and then the music was coming through. I was like, oh, I'm so happy. So there's a picture online somewhere where I have just put on the costume and everything has worked perfectly. And I was like sobbing inside the costume. So my Yuna came and gave the giant Bahamut a hug. There was a picture of that somewhere. But yeah, that's the story of Bahamut, I guess. Oh, and then once we won the Australian selection with Bahamut, I decided to not make a brand new costume for Chicago. I decided to just take another few months to upgrade the Bahamut to be even more crazier. So we added a spinning back wheel, and we added more gas, and we added rhinestones and all of that stuff. It took the first Bahamut took about 7 months to finish, and then there was another 7 months until Chicago. So all in all, it was 14 months altogether.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, and that's Bahamut.
I remember seeing some progress photos where you were gluing the gems, and I was like, more details?
I recently compiled all of the videos that I took into like 4 minutes. So you can see the beginning to the end in 4 minutes on, I think it was Facebook or YouTube somewhere. Yeah, it's somewhere. The video is somewhere.
Yeah, I need to look for it.
Please check it out.
It must be really impressive.
Yeah. How long does it take to put Bahamut on?
Oh God. It takes more time to actually screw everything together than it is to put on. So So the costume has like a few parts, right? Oh, lots of parts. So the most troublesome bit is to actually put all the wings together because all the wings they have to come apart for transport. So every time we have to transport Bahamut, all of the bits that are on the red bits and the gold bits on the wings would come off into like these sticks, and they come into a pile that we can bundle together.
Yeah.
So first with the wings, we have to put the two wings together and then put all of the bits that stick out into the wings. And then we have to put the wings onto the body, and then we have to put the arms onto the body. And then what I have to do is get a couple of people to lift up the entire thing with the wings. I have to like just crawl into it through its crotch. And then once I'm in the body, then I step into the legs. So if I have enough people there to help me into it, it's actually quite a quick process. The assembly takes about 30 to 40 minutes, like just to screw everything together. And then to put it on, it's like 2 seconds. Like it's a lift, I crawl in, and then somebody helps me into my legs, and it's like done.
Yeah,
nice. But it's more the stress of actually transporting the thing. I don't think I ever would want to make anything that big ever again, because it's just suffering.
More suffering.
It's more suffering is because I hate not having the ability to put on costumes myself. Like I always like to be able to get ready myself. Bahamut needs an entire team. So I'm like, I don't like relying on other people. So yeah, that was one of those costumes that actually like was dependent on having a good team around. So yeah, as fun as that was, I definitely won't do anything that big again. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
You've learned your lesson.
I've learned my lesson. I'll make big weapons though.
Okay.
About weapons, I love the ones you did for Sora from Kingdom Hearts. They are really awesome. I love the game.
Old. Yeah, those are so old. I really like those as well. Those were actually one of my first props that I've ever made.
Really?
And the photos you did are awesome also.
Back in 2010 when I did those, I remember exactly the year that I made those. We were
sure no. Wait a minute.
Yeah, there were back in 2009, 2010, there was a convention in Perth in Australia called YCon that we always went to in summer. And Perth has some beautiful beaches. So I thought Sora would be the perfect selection to do photo shoots in Perth. And I was right. It looks like the island. I forgot what the island is called, but it looks like the island that the story is set in.
Yeah, really good. Okay, so again, our time is running out. We're going to have to do another little break and be right back for the last part, okay?
Okay.
So,
people, we
see you soon.
See you in a second.
Yeah. You're back for the last
Here.
part.
Hey!
For the last short part, this
Yeah.
has to
Last
be a
short
little
part.
quick because WIRRU has to go. It's been amazing to have you here.
It's been amazing to be here.
Okay, so Nuno, you have another thing ready for him, and we are going to apologize for our viewers because we don't have time to do any more questions. So sorry about this. So Nuno, what do you have here to show to WIRRU?
Okay. I
Oh,
want
God.
Hero
He's scared.
express himself about the freedom
Tell
videos.
us about the video. I don't know what to say about those. Those were kind of
The videos explain
those were just
exactly.
kind of something that I've always done. I think the first time that everybody knew about those was when I did it with Mai. But I actually, like, not a lot of people know about this, but a long time before the My Freedom video, I actually did a Genji one. It was just the wig.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah, so that was from a long time ago, but I think this one caught more traction because it was just more unexpected. But yeah, I mean, it's a feeling that everybody gets after a convention.
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, I think it's time to kind of summarize that in a video.
Like when you just
This
throw yourself to the bed, just planking, like,
Yeah.
I feel like that is the only acceptable way to get into bed after convention nowadays. It's just
Those
Oh my
videos
God,
are
that's
awesome.
a compilation too.
Oh my God.
I like that one a lot. It's like I also like just enjoy the fact that I can well, a lot of people are surprised that I can just throw my costume bits across the room without damaging it. But I always try to make my costumes so that they can survive that kind of abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you need to travel to all these places or fly, so they need to take the travel.
Yeah,
over
exactly,
there for it.
exactly. So like if my costumes can't be thrown at a wall, they are not well made enough.
No, there's some. I'm going to show the chat adapt how your boobies are a purse right now on the freedom videos where you are.
When you take
Tsunade.
when you take them off, there comes a lot of things out of them.
Yes. All of the stuff that's in it. Do you want me to tell you what's in it?
Yeah.
So inside that one, because of Tsunade, you know how she's a medical ninja. So at that convention, I was actually running around with cosplay repair items in my boobies. And every person that I came across that needed something fixed on their costumes, I would pull something out of my boobies and help them with my medical ninjutsu.
Awesome.
So inside of those boobies that time, I had safety pins, I had sewing pins, I had threads, I had 3 different types of glue, one for foam, one for fabric, one for resin. I had hairspray and hair gel, so I had a glue stick, I had makeup, I had powder, foundation, and eyeshadow for people to touch up their makeup with my boobies. And what else did I have in there?
That sentence over there.
Yeah.
That sentence over there. I have people to repair their makeup with my boobies.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I had a lot of stuff in there for that time. I usually don't keep that much stuff in there. It's usually when I was cosplaying Mai, it was like a drink bottle. Like I just had a drink bottle because it was just such a hot costume. So I would just like have a drink bottle and with a straw coming out of my boob, I would just like suck on it.
That's amazing. Oh God.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh God. Are you gonna play the whole thing?
No!
Do we have to?
I really like these videos.
I have some new costumes that I have to add to this compilation.
Ooh.
Okay, so the videos are still running. Iris, do you want to do the last question?
Yes, I want.
Yes, of course.
So, Viru, do you want to leave a message to our viewers?
I'm so glad to have been here today, guys. I hope you enjoyed my answers to these guys' questions. I hope you, I don't know, enjoyed my point of view on things, I guess. And it's been really lovely to chat with everybody. We certainly talked about things that I haven't talked about in a while. And it was a really nice trip down memory lane for some of those topics as well. I hope I have a chance to visit you guys in person sometime. Please get places to invite me or
Please send
anything.
emails.
I have lots of videos on YouTube nowadays. It's actually not a very known channel at the moment, but I would really appreciate if you guys can check out my tutorials. All of my tutorials on Facebook and stuff are like the short versions, but like on YouTube is like the long version. So if you want to craft along to a video that's like half an hour long, my YouTube is the place to go. But I hope my content will continue to help you guys in one way or another, or at least entertain you and make you laugh, like the freedom videos. I will make more of those, by the way. But it's been really lovely to be here. I hope I can meet you guys soon. Chat with me on all of my platforms. I always reply to messages. So yeah, leave me a message, leave me a comment or anything like that. And we can chat online, even though we can't see each other at the moment. But yeah, hopefully in person soon.
Thank you so much
Thank
for accepting
you.
our invitation and for being here with us today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
Yeah, it was. We're going to have all of your social network links on the description of this video.
Yeah.
So people, if you want to go check the links, you can go ahead. Tomorrow will be all online.
Okay. Once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and for making this afternoon really cool.
Yay, thank you so much for being the first thing into my morning.
Yeah, you're in the morning.
True. What time is there? What time is it?
It is 10 a.m. now. We've been at this for a while, but no,
Yeah.
I'm actually awake now, so that's good.
That's
good.
good.
I'm a little bit less sleepy because of this.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Okay.
Good.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, people. So we will see you again in next week. And again, thank you. We will see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye, people.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Till next week.
So, see you. Where's the okay.
You deleted it again.
Oh shit. Okay.